welcome to the Premier Collector's Edition Limited, one time only. No, just kidding. There's going to be plenty more after this. Anyway, my name is Rico from Geekoholics.com. Again, this is the Geekoholics Anonymous podcast. I'm here with my co-host,
Dane Cody.
And we're here to talk about everything geek, games, movies, tech, whatever. We're going to start with what you playing. So I'll let you start, Dane.
All right. I've been in a bit of not a rut necessarily, but I've been playing a ton of Smite over the last while. Kind of hooked me there a while ago, and that is pretty much what I've been playing a ton of. Although I did play through the order, contrary to what everybody seemed to sort of hate on. I really, really enjoyed it. Thought it was a fantastic game. Really hope they see a sequel. I don't know if they will, but we can hope. And actually recently, because I was listening to a whole bunch of other podcasts, I sort of picked up Marvel Heroes again. You and I sort of played that when it first came out, sort of a Diablo in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. And in all honesty, when it first came out, it was kind of a throwaway game. It was really buggy, wasn't all that great. But I can honestly say, like, since they've released it, they've really worked hard on it, and it's actually really fantastic. I've been playing a ton of it. They've done a total 180 on it. It's really worth playing now. So that's been taking up a whole bunch of my time.
So with Marvel Heroes, do you get a free character when you sign up, or is it like rotation like some of the other free-to-play games?
No, you get a whole bunch of heroes up to level 10. And then when you hit level 10, you can choose one to take past level 10 to level 60. And that's kind of how they, so they kind of hook you in by playing a bunch of different ones if you want. Or you can play one up to level 10 and then keep playing them through to level 60. But essentially you get one free one that you can sort of, you have a starting roster and you can choose one character to kind of level up past that.
That's kind of cool. You kind of get to take a bunch of guys for a test drive without having to get too invested.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet. I mean, I'm at level, I think, 26 on my main guy. I'm playing as Daredevil right now. And, I could even go back right now and I can play a bunch of the other characters, down up to level 10 if I wanted still. And also while I've been playing, I've managed to pick up, hero drops. I also have, I believe, 2 other heroes now. So I also have Hawkeye and the Thing that I managed to pick up in game, through various drops and stuff. So
you can unlock heroes as like loot, like drops in the game. Yeah.
And there's another type of sort of currency in the game that you can also use to actually buy heroes. You don't get it as often. I can't remember what it's actually called off the top of my head, but they're like a shard that you pick up, and the drops don't happen as often, but you can also use those to buy in-game like characters and things as well.
That sounds pretty cool. I remember liking it when we played it, but it was pretty laggy, I remember, and it just, you could tell it was like totally under construction. It was pretty early in the game.
Yeah, and in all honesty, they've polished it up so much. I mean, when I first played it, there was so many bugs. They kept breaking, and it was kind of painful in all honesty. But in all honesty, since I started playing it again, on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I started picking it up again, and it's been great. I haven't hit any major bugs, a few like visual glitches here and there, but nothing to write home about. So they rebranded it, right? Like that's Marvel Heroes like 2015 or something like that now. Yeah, they've recalled it, though. I mean, it's, Marvel Heroes 2015, so.
It's just on PC, right?
Yeah, PC only. I don't know if they're actually planning on putting it on any other platforms yet.
The specs aren't, you don't need no crazy PC to be playing that, do you?
No, I mean, my home PC is pretty skookum, but, I mean, it runs great. I also kind of played a bit of it on my laptop as well, which is fine, and I mean, it runs good, so, yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And you're still playing Smite, which they just celebrated their first birthday, and that's good news.
Yeah, I mean it's been huge. I mean, they're taking the third MOBA sort of by storm. Obviously they're not League or Dota, but I think what they have, they do a really good job of it. I'm not really a huge MOBA guy, and they've, they hooked me. I don't know what it was. I started off, and initially I was kind of like, this is kind of, I don't know if I'm going to keep playing this. And then I managed to find a character that sort of fit for me, and it just took off, man. Like I couldn't stop playing it. And then sort of ever since then, it's just, whenever I'm not playing something, or when I'm thinking about going to play something, it's just like, well, maybe I'll have a game of Smite. And of course, one game turns into 5 games, and, there goes the night.
I see you playing it quite a bit, but it definitely looks cool. Like it's a really cool demoing game. Like when you watch it, like the third person, the action looks really cool. You can tell when people are like all the action that's going down. Like you can see the plays more easily than some of the top down like MOBAs.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had my wife when the World Championships were on. I had it on the TV and we were watching it, and she actually kind of got into it, and she doesn't even play it. So the fact that, somebody who doesn't even play it, or play that many video games for that matter, could kind of get into it, and she really enjoyed watching it. So, I mean, that says something for, it as a sport.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of stuff, a couple indie things, and of course, the big one this week, I've been playing Bloodborne, and I want to go play more Bloodborne. It's a funny thing. Like, it depends if you like the Souls type of game. Now, if you don't know what that is extremely punishing, and it gives you no information. You're just let loose in the world, and it's like, have at her, and everything's gonna literally kill you in seconds. So it's not like your button mashy, like action games like Devil May Cry, where, you just, bashing away and there's no fear. You're just going through doing your combos. You got to be careful. Like, a couple enemies in this game are going to kill you, and it's gonna punish you because you're gonna lose your like currency, your blood shards, which is instead of souls in this game. But man, I'm having a lot of fun. It's super fast. Obviously, the graphics look amazing. I was streaming it the last couple days. I actually beat the first boss before I came down here to record this, and that was pretty nice. I beat him on my second try, which makes me very happy. It's just that punishing gameplay. It's really rewarding, right? Like, you feel a sense of accomplishment when you get through a section, because it actually takes effort to get through a section of the game. If you don't have patience and you don't have time for that, it's probably not for you. You're gonna get pissed off. The loading times when you die are atrocious.
Yeah, I was actually watching you play last night, and you died fighting the 2 werewolves, I think they were.
Yeah, those guys are fuckers.
Yeah, and the load time was definitely... Initially, I was like, oh, did the game crash, maybe?
No, it seemed... Yeah, it's like... I sit there, and honestly, I just turn to my PC and, like, surf the internet. Okay, it's back now. But it kind of... If you die a lot, luckily I'm not dying all the time, it definitely... I can see it ruining the rhythm, especially if you're going up against a boss, right? It's like that little, but I don't know. I guess you can also look at it as a cooldown period so you can regather your senses.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it looks like an awesome game. I have a kind of a love-hate with the Souls games. I picked up, I think it was the first Soul game on PS3 for my brother for Christmas a few years ago there. And we both, sat down and we tried to play it, and I don't think I was kind of ready for the type of game that it was. I mean, I'd heard it was great. The reviews were awesome. I picked it up for him, and we both kind of, wow. It sort of hit us out of left field, just the difficulty and the pace. I mean, you definitely got to be going into those kind of games willing to sort of take a slower pace of game. Like, they're definitely not, if you run in there, like you said, you're going to be dead so fast.
Yeah, you know what it is? It kind of harkens back to NES days, like when I was young, NES games like, Ninja Gaiden and some of the old school Nintendo games, they were really hard. Yeah. Not necessarily because the games were hard. Sometimes it was the terrible controls.
Yeah, but absolutely.
Like, you got a patience for rinse and repeat and try again. This is the only game you're going to have all year.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the problem with these difficult games nowadays. You know, if you get pissed off with Bloodborne, you just turn around and play something else. There's so much out there. You don't have to put up with that, right?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
so like if you don't want to spend the time with it, you know, I don't know. It is definitely not for everyone. It's a definitely acquired taste. Yeah. And I honestly hated the first Demon Souls. Like I'm like, why the hell do people like this game? I'm like, what the hell? I don't like this.
Right.
And, you know, I got into it in the Dark Souls when they changed the series, the franchise. And I don't know, I really got into them. Like, I beat Dark Souls 2. I got to the end of Dark Souls 1, never actually beat it. It fell into my pile of shame, but I'm definitely going to be beating Bloodborne. I really like it. I think it's pretty awesome. And it's different, right? Like, it's not just sit back and use your shield. It rewards you for being aggressive, but obviously being aggressive leaves you open to some punishment too.
Yeah, you gotta be smart aggressive in this game, right?
But it's pretty cool. Like, you know, not going online, just figuring it out on my own and just plodding through the world. I don't know. I think it's great. It's definitely one of my favorite AAA games of the year so far. That being said, there haven't been very many, but
yeah, this is true. This is true.
But yeah,
you know, for me, it's interesting because I really wasn't. I mean, you and I were at PAX last year, and we kind of got a taste of Bloodborne, you know, quite early on before kind of anybody else. Yay, you know, and at the time, I really liked it, and I thought to myself, you know, maybe this will be kind of one of those Souls-type games that maybe I'll pick up. You know, and then it kind of fell off my radar a bit. I mean, obviously, the news media and everybody was making a big deal out of it, but now since it's been out and watching you play and some other people, you know, it's kind of one of those games where I feel like I'm almost missing out by not playing it. And, and I'm probably going to end up picking it up.
That's definitely the thing, because right now everyone's like exploring and experiencing and finding out the secrets together, right? Like, yeah. Obviously, you know, after I cleared the first boss, I watched, there's this guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name right now, but he has like amazing videos, and it's like what you missed in the central Yarnum, which is like the first area of the game.
Right.
And it's like, oh, cool. I did not know that was there. Like, you know, take a left instead of a right. And there's this whole secret like section that, you know, you just bypassed. But it's like, it's not linear. Like, the levels go up and over and under and around each other, and there's like 3 ways to get to the same place. So it's, you know, it's really cool when you find those nooks and crannies, and that's part of making that game, that makes that game so fun. Besides just like I said, just the reward of just beating these like tough ass bosses.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe just even those. I mean, the werewolves, they weren't even bosses, but there was 2 of them, and I mean, when they, you know, the first playthrough that I was watching you play through, they kind of ganged up on you there. You pulled the one, and then it just took you a little bit too long to kind of finish the one, and you got ganged up on with the 2, and that was it. Like it was game over.
Yeah, they were they're scary. They're still scary now. Like you have to go past them into the new section that I'm working into now. But of course, with the Souls games, there's always been cheesing enemies. So I found a way how to cheese those werewolves now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but that's part of the Souls. You know, you use the mechanics to your advantage and take advantage of the game. That's always been part of that series, so you can't really feel too bad about it with all the punishment they dole out on you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to be sort of expected, right? I mean, otherwise, you know, if you don't sort of figure out how to beat that kind of stuff, then what's the point in playing, right?
Yeah, I love it. I want to play more, so that's looking forward to that. And I've been playing some off the AAA train. I've been playing some Hotline Miami 2 on PS4.
Very nice.
And some Ori on Xbox One. Hotline Miami, I don't know if you played the first one, it's more of the same, you know, like awesome music, and they've just enlarged the levels. That's not even a word, I just made that up. But the levels are like twice the size, if not 3 times the size compared to Hotline Miami 2.
I've been hearing like kind of online, like some of the chatter is like, the consensus seems to be that having the bigger levels for Hotline Miami 2 isn't necessarily a good thing, though.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah, but that's what I've been hearing is it kind of makes the game so much harder now because now, like before when it was these quick puzzles, now having the levels that are so much bigger, it's like, on one hand it ups the difficulty, which is kind of cool, but on the other hand, it really, it can really kind of make the game a bitch.
Yeah, I've been screwed by the bigger levels, right? Like you can't see an enemy off screen and you think you're progressing. Oh, I'm safe. And then
right.
You're dead. You get shot. But, the cool thing of Hotline Miami is like as soon as you die and respawn, it's instant. Like, it's like as soon as you die, click, you're back in the game. There's no waiting. So that's a plus. The music's awesome. The soundtrack's wicked.
Oh, yeah. The music in those games is always fantastic.
I wouldn't say the changes are so much that it's like, oh my God, Hotline Miami 2 did so much. It's pretty much more the same with a few little tweaks. You got guys who can switch weapons, a couple characters that are Rambo-like where you can actually reload weapons and they can't pick up weapons.
Right.
Which is kind of neat. Definitely makes it tough. So you got to figure out, okay, I got enough ammo to shoot these guys, or I got to take these guys out with a knife because they're easier to get a run at, and then shoot these guys, reload, get the last couple guys. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. I'd still be playing it if Bloodborne didn't come out.
Oh, fair enough. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I played a bit of the first one, but I haven't played a ton of it. So I mean, it's kind of my game. I mean, it's weird because it's a bit of a puzzle game, but it's kind of not.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle shooter.
Yeah. That's exactly kind of how it is. I mean, I think that really explains it nicely, actually. But that being said, I do have to admit it's got some wicked music that, like you said, it's awesome music. The soundtrack for that game is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool in Hotline because you see the level, like you said, the levels are like a puzzle. And you have to figure out your plan of attack. Okay, I'm going to kick down the door, stab this guy, throw a bat at that guy, pick up the gun and shoot that guy. And it's like an action movie when you get the level right. You're just pulling off this whole series of actions one after another to clear out the room. And you screw up one step, you're dead.
Right.
So it's almost like a dance rhythm game or something sometimes, like the way you have to execute your moves, but they need to be perfect. There's no okays or misses or you're dead.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, I might, I think I have the first one still loaded up on my Vita, so maybe I'll go back and, sort of mess with it.
It's actually really fun on Vita. I think I prefer playing it on the Vita with some headphones on.
Yeah.
Because it's really cool on the Vita.
Oh, fair enough.
And it obviously with the new one, it's got the cross sync. I think the old one did too. So you can go from your PS4 to your Vita and back and forth.
I wish some more games were coming out on the Vita. I love my Vita. The more I play it, the more I use it, the more I like it. And I just wish, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. Sony it's like they got lots of stuff coming out for it, and they just don't seem to be telling people about it. It's I don't know.
It's the indie handheld machine.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it's come down to now. Yeah, and I mean, not that I'm upset that that's what it's become, because there's been some awesome games, especially indie games, like you said. And then obviously some other ones that have come out that have been great.
Yeah, the Vita's awesome, but its penetration is a whole other discussion.
Yeah,
it's like the 3DS, right? And it's just smartphones in general have totally eaten into that handheld category. Like people don't want to carry another device, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of true. I mean, I'm trying to think to myself, like besides like PAX and a few other sort of times when I know I'm going to be, spending a lot of time by myself, sort of in a mobile situation. There's not a whole lot of times that I'm, taking my Vita outside of my house, really.
Yeah, I'm the only person that I know of that carries a Vita and a 3DS, and obviously that's because I lug a backpack everywhere I go with my laptop in it too, right? But not many other people carry those systems with them all the time. I don't know. I can't stand mobile games, and that's just because I'm old school. Like on cell phone, I mean, like I love 3DS and Vita, but like cell phone games, ugh.
Yeah, there is very few cell phone games that I appreciate, in all honesty. So I kind of understand where you're coming from in that regard.
Once Hearthstone comes out on Android, that'll probably change my case. But that's just an amazing game. It doesn't matter what platform that's on.
Yeah, that game's a lot of fun. You playing some Ori too, I heard, didn't you?
Yeah, Ori's really special. That game was awesome. I played that one nonstop. It's not the longest game in the world. I think I beat it in about 7.5 hours. But wow, like, I don't know if you like the 2D like platformer style games. It's awesome. Like, you should buy it. Like, if you like Metroid or like Castlevania style games, Metroidvania, it even has like comparisons to Super Meat Boy, like in terms of some of the traversal, like jumping areas of the game. It's like, again, it's some of the areas are pretty punishing. I got a video I've been working on to put it out on it.
Right.
It's awesome and it's beautiful, like visually beautiful.
That game is stunning. Like,
oh yeah,
every time I see it, I'm just blown away. When I was a kid and I was playing, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and stuff like that, Ori is what I thought graphics were going to look like, down the road.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When I was playing those games and I was thinking to myself, like, graphics are going to get great. I wasn't thinking they're going to become 3D. I was thinking they were going to look like Ori.
Yeah, like all the 2D platformers were going to be like Disney Pixar movies.
Yeah, exactly. Even
though we didn't know what Pixar movies were back then. They didn't exist, but you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Ori is one of the first games that's actually kind of make me wish I had an Xbox One,
It's one of my favorite games this year. I'd say Ori and Bloodborne, definitely.
Yeah.
But Ori is like a different game, right? Like, it's
absolutely.
the best, like, platforming, like, it's the best, like, smaller scale. Like, I don't like dividing games into different categories really, but it's just a different experience, right? Like, the music is amazing. Like, this game has so much emotion in it too. Like, the little Ori, like his little movements and animations, that they totally Pixar you at the start of the movie. Like, like Finding Nemo intro, like you're ready to freaking cry. Like, I haven't, man, I got all the feels. And,
you're not the first one to say that. I've heard that about that game. It ups you right off the bat.
Yeah, and there's like a few situations in that game where it's just like, wow, and you're just like, you're reminded like that they're more than games sometimes, and it's just, Ori is a beautiful experience, and on top of that, it's an awesome game. Like, it controls amazing. Like, it's super tight controls, like turning in the air, your double, triple jumps, your dash attacks, like, you start out with like no skills at all, and the enemies just mess you up pretty quickly, and obviously you earn different attacks and different skills as you go and as you explore the world. It's, I don't know, like I said, awesome game. If you have an Xbox One, you should buy it. If you like 2D games, obviously, if you don't like 2D action platformers, don't waste your money. But
yeah,
if you have any interest in those types of games, it's up there with, some of the best, like, Rayman Legends, but this isn't coming from a AAA studio. This is coming from a smaller studio. I can't remember what they're called. I think it's Moon Interactive or Moon Studios. It's Moon something.
Yeah. And
actually, they're actually a pretty unique studio. I was listening to, the producer of the game. I can't remember where it was. If it was another podcast, and they're like a total remote studio. Like, no one works in the same place. They're all over the world. So it's like a conglomeration of like developers and programmers working on this game, doing their bits all remotely, which is really, really unique.
Kind of like our podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's just a handful of guys working on it. They're not the biggest studio, but man, the production quality. I don't know if there's a demo. If there was a demo, definitely check it out. Or if you got a couple extra bucks to burn, I think it's either 15 or 20 bucks, maybe 20 bucks, because everything seems to be getting more expensive. But I can't stop gushing about this game. You should definitely check it out if you have an Xbox One.
Yeah, like I said, in all honesty, I mean, I didn't pick up an Xbox One off the bat. I did pre-order a PlayStation 4. And there hasn't been that many games that have kind of made me wish I did have an Xbox One yet. I know that's going to come, but I will admit that Ori is actually one of the first ones that's kind of really made me go, oh man, I really wish I had an Xbox One.
Yeah, quite honestly, my Xbox One has kind of been like a paperweight. Like I've played what?
Sunset Overdrive,
Forza.
Oh yeah, as a car guy,
Dead Rising 3.
As a car guy, I really do want to pick up the new Forza because it's gorgeous and
well, if you had an Xbox One, they have the free Fast and the Furious one coming out at the end of the month.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot
about
that.
Pretty interesting. I think it's a handful of cars. I can't remember exactly what's in it.
Yeah, they're releasing a handful of cars and a few tracks.
Yeah, and it's like Fast and Furious, like branded, which is that's really cool. That is the example of a good like tie-in, like an amazing game franchise with a pretty awesome movie franchise. A couple of them been hit or miss, but lately I've liked the last few, as a big explosion action movie. They've been pretty cool. Instead of just trying to do, here's our stupid game with so-and-so studio that we jammed together in 6 months to release at the time of the movie, it's a pretty honest effort. It's like, hey, we're doing something quality.
Yeah, I mean, they're releasing a bunch of cars out of they're sort of like the classic cars from the movies, right? So you've got like the classic Charger that, Vin Diesel always drives in those movies. I'm sure that the Mitsubishi Eclipse from the first movie is going to be there. So, I mean, they seem to be kind of picking and choosing throughout the movies and sort of grabbing and releasing them all in this one big pack on the Xbox, that's pretty cool. I mean, like you said, as a tie-in, it's fantastic. It doesn't reek of we're just going to grab money and, try and make as much off this as we can. It seems like a genuine, like, hey, this makes sense. Like somebody actually thought about this.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's what, I don't know. I wish we'd see that kind of stuff more and a lot less of the just, how can we make a game? How can we make some money off of this?
Yeah. I'll be downloading. I think it comes out on Friday. I'll download it and then, I'll report back whether it is good or if it's some crazy pay to play cash grab. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be a terrible idea. But for now, obviously we haven't played it, so we have no idea.
Yeah, fair enough.
Have you been, I guess, Heroes and Smite? That's pretty much it for you right now. I got the order, so I'm going to play it over the next couple of days and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, if that's the case, then maybe I'll save my gushing on the order till next week, and we
save it till next week.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
We're a little bit late on that, considering it came out a while ago, but whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've also been playing tons of Heroes this Storm.
Yeah, I saw that. You've been streaming that a little bit too, eh?
Yeah, it's fun. I obviously, like, we got into League in a big way in the summertime. League of Legends, for those of you who do not know what League is, which is probably one of the most popular MOBAs out there.
Not just MOBAs, man. Like that's the most popular game in the world right now.
Yeah, I think those guys are up there. They're making money hand over fist. And, I love League, but you get to a point where you almost have to play it like a job. And, me and the boys over here, we have like a games night every Monday, and usually we're playing some multiplayer games. And League was dominating it, and we were playing bots, and then we were playing real people, and we were winning all the time. And then we get dragged up into the higher tier, and then we start playing some really good people, and then we just start getting stomped. And, I'm going to be honest, like I was probably, like the Achilles heel, like I wasn't the best of the game. I only played it once a week on our games night. I didn't play it every day. I almost had to play a couple games to get reacquainted with it.
It's funny. I have a similar issue sometimes with Smite when I don't play it for a few days, and a lot of my gaming kind of happens on the weekends in the morning when I tend to get up quite a bit earlier than my wife does. And so I kind of play some games in the morning. And it's weird how it seems to take me a game or two just to kind of get back into the rhythm of things. So,
yeah, totally.
And I'm in this weird spot with my ranking in that game where some of the games that I end up in, I've got these guys that are low level and it's painful. And then I got other times where I'm up, up in almost level, the level cap in Smite is 30. So I'm at like level 24 now. So sometimes I end up having mostly 30 players. Now, if they're on my team, great. But unfortunately, when I end up with like level 16, level 17 players, and then the other team has, 2 or 3 level 30 players, man, it can really put a damper on your afternoon.
How long are the matches in Smite?
It depends. I usually try and warm up. There's a mode called Joust, which is a 3 versus 3, and those usually run about 15 minutes, which is really nice. If you don't have a ton of time, you can kind of jump in, play a little bit, still have a good game, but not, whereas the normal game is Conquest, and those can take, they can take upwards of an hour. They're usually between half an hour and 45 minutes, but I have had the odd one that'll go almost an hour. So, not too much different than League with a 5-on-5, right?
Yeah. So with League, the matches are like, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And it's pretty crushing when you lose like a 40-minute match, 45-minute match, because it's such a huge time investment.
Oh, absolutely.
And, and some of the teammates are, getting a little frustrated. And I know, like, I'm part of the problem. I'm not the best player on the team. And, I suck. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not patient. And patience is a big part of those games. So I get myself killed, and then I get frustrated, and then I start doing more stupid mistakes, and then I'm just feeding the other team. And yeah, it's just frustrating all around. But I really like League. Like, it's fun. It's awesome to watch. Like when we were at PAX and we saw the regionals, that was like that was exhilarating watching those guys play live.
Oh yeah. The electricity that was in that room was incredible.
It was like watching a hockey game. Honestly, it almost felt like there was more energy in there than a hockey game.
Well, if anybody's been to a Canucks game, then there definitely was more energy.
I don't watch real sports. I just play them.
Fair enough.
Well, I haven't played any lately, but still. Yeah, anyway, so that was a problem with League. And then, I had heroes. I had heroes since, I guess, basically since PAX, because for demoing it there, basically they gave everyone who demoed the game access to the beta.
Yeah, I mean, you and I walked away from PAX. I think we both, like a week later, had access to it.
And everyone else, pretty much everyone who went to the booth and did the survey got access, which was sweet. So it's just the matches are 10. A long match in Heroes is 25 minutes. Like, that's a long match.
Yeah.
I played a few games against people and won. Played tons of co-op. Won, like, barely ever lose. The games are so much quicker, so the ones we have lost is like, whatever, that took 10 minutes, so who cares? Let's just queue up and play another one.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not as punishing to lose. And I don't know, I love the heroes. Like, they're all Blizzard heroes. Like, Blizzard's made some of the best lore and the best heroes and the best characters and the best games. Like, it's Blizzard.
Yeah.
Like, so just the polish is, it's awesome.
The polish, I mean, let's be honest, it's in alpha or it's in beta at this point. When that game comes out, it's going to be huge. It's going to be giant, I'm pretty sure. And it's, and it's going to attract all those people that hit the same wall as I did with League. It's like, oh, you're not competitive pro, you ain't no C9, whatever, whatever. It's going to pick up all those people that have the same problem as me. It's a little, less punishing, like, and time investment wise. So, you know what it is, I think that Heroes of the Storm, it's much more casual friendly.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, if you want to go in and you want to, blow hours and hours and hours and hours on the game, that's fine. You can totally do that. But at the same time, if you just want to go in, play a couple matches, and then get out because, you have other things to do, I feel like the game is a lot more set up for that than something like
League
or even Smite. Like, you do not have to invest half your life into playing it in order to have fun and to play.
Yeah, you're not leaving a Smite game or a League game, like we're playing League and, my wife comes in the room, she's like, dinner's on the table. And it's like, we're halfway into a fucking match. I can't leave,
No.
like I'm not leaving or I'm going to get murdered by my teammates.
Oh, yes. Not only that, then everybody on your team is probably going to, ding you for, leaving early, and then you look like a giant douche.
Yeah. But Heroes is going to be huge when it comes out. Just like Hearthstone, like, has blown the doors off of free to play. Like, they've made so much money with that game.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Just Heroes is just more of the same, and Overwatch is going to be more of the same. They're just going to take another genre and do the same thing. Like, but yeah, Heroes, the matches are quick. It's not as punishing if you're not in your lane. You don't, the roles are not so like concrete, set in stone. You're our attack, carry, and you're our support. Like, obviously you have those roles, but it seems like there's a lot more team battles. There's a lot more roaming from the lanes, because all the maps are objective based. It's not just 3 lanes. There's like, I think 7 maps now. They just released another one. I haven't played the new one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're really cool. They're all objective based. Yeah. Like, one level is I think it's Blackbeard.
Yeah, the one on the pirate ship.
It's
right?
a pirate ship level, and
that's a cool level.
These treasure chests spawn around the map randomly, and that incites battles around the treasure chest, because you open the treasure chest, so you get the coins, you pay the bounty to Blackbeard, and then from his pirate ship, he destroys your enemies' forts and towers. So it's less about pushing the lane and doing the damage yourself. It's like feeding the map goal, Blackbeard, and he does the damage for you. And it also causes these choke points where, the enemy is going to go there. And if they don't, they're an idiot. They're going to get punished for not going to defend these map objectives. Because, like, if you don't, the other team will just run away with the match.
Oh, absolutely. I've actually played that map a couple of times. And if you're not the team that's rushing the gold and trying to get the gold to push that, you're going to get stomped.
Yeah, and they all have their little takes like that, which is fun. So it's not always the same thing.
Yeah.
And, some levels, there's the dragon shrine. You control the 2 dragon shrines, and then one of your heroes can go to the middle and transform into a dragon, giant hulking dragon hero who just lays waste to the enemy. And, he only lasts, I think there's a timer on them, and they also have health. So if everyone, if the defending team take him out, he's gone. But like, you can do so much damage, and it's just a push pull back and forth the whole time. More so just someone usually, well, when you play against a computer, you just stomp the computer, but with real people, it's just a real fun push and pull, and it's like, oh, we're winning, oh, we're losing, oh, we're winning, and I don't know, and it's like, it's quick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been playing a bit of Heroes myself, not as much as you, and not as recently as you, but it's something I kind of come back to. It's, there'll be days when I'll be kind of like, oh, maybe I'll play some League today, and for whatever reason, I always end up finding myself instead picking up Heroes instead, just because, especially if I'm playing by myself.
League. I don't think League's fun by yourself. The whole thing with League's fun when you're, when we're at PAX sitting right next to us, all 3 of us sitting in that LAN playing together. That's fun. Yeah. When we play online, 5 of us, that's fun, but it's not so much fun one player. But like Heroes, I'll play by myself, do the daily quests, earn gold, try out new heroes, and that's really, they have a mechanic that makes it really easy to try the heroes, which is really cool compared to some of the other ones. Like, you can try heroes, but it's not as simple like in League. It's I think you got to load up a map, and it's just convoluted way of testing out the heroes. But, and who doesn't want to play as their favorite, like, World of Warcraft characters or Diablo characters? These are games you've spent like years with, that you've grown up with, and these characters. Their backstories and all their lore, and just to see them doing their thing and shouting out taunts and stuff. It's I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I really like it. Yeah.
No, I'm in the same boat.
They're going to be. I think they're going to be super successful with that. Like, a couple of people say, "Oh, I don't know. Is there room?" And it's like, it's casual, and it's just like, well, as big as League is, if League was accessible, imagine how much bigger it would be.
Oh yeah, no, League is, it's weird, because on one hand, League is very accessible, it's easy to get into, but the problem is it's hard to stay in, Because
free's easy, but yeah, like the environment and the tutorials
is so toxic.
Like the tutorials in that game are terrible.
Yeah, they're not very good.
And the whole item story. I don't want to play a game and have to go to a website to figure out the best build and what I should be doing. I want to play the game my way, and with the systems that are there, I should be able to figure everything out on my own. I don't have to refer to some damn wiki. Like, it's so annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely, Smite can be a little bit like that. There is the item store and stuff. But I definitely know what you mean. There is something nice about Heroes knowing that, your whole team levels at the same time and you don't have to worry about items. It's sort of you choose the abilities that you want to use, when you want to use them, and in what order, you kind of want to play them as. And
yeah, and you can customize your abilities, which is all items are doing anyway in those other games. Those items just, complement your different abilities. So you build one way for strength, one way for defense, right? But you just got to go through this convoluted interface to buy these stupid items, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Heroes, like, oh, here's my abilities. I want my basic attacks to heal. Well, in League, I got to go figure out what damn item does that, And obviously, I exaggerate how bad it is, but it's not easy. It's not welcoming, and it takes some time to figure out, and whatever. If it weeds out people that aren't willing to do it, then fine. That community can keep their super hardcore people.
Yeah,
they've done well. They attract females. A lot of people are playing that game. They're not, they're doing something right.
Oh yes, just a few people playing it.
I'm sure at a certain point though, you hit a wall, right? When it's not fun anymore. If your group skill set isn't the same, you'll get into a place where it's just like, this isn't fun anymore. We're losing all the time.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And losing sucks. I think we've been rambling like for over 40 minutes about what we've been playing. I think we should maybe move on to some news.
Ooh, news.
And maybe if we get professional, we'll get some bumpers to separate our sections. Maybe someone out there that's musically inclined who has nothing to do and wants to help us out. Yeah, feel free.
Fair enough.
So, I don't know. What do you want to talk about here?
Well,
there's a couple things.
Yeah, we got a couple of good things here. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much there is to talk about the Nintendo NX at this point.
Well, we know Nintendo has a new system coming.
Yeah, that's about all of the news that there is they've said they are building a new one, and that's, all we really have.
That's good news. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Wii U is their last system. They're going to pull out like Sega.
I like my Wii U a lot. It's like any Nintendo system. You buy a Wii U to play Nintendo games.
Yeah, they've been like that since N64, but unfortunately the Wii U has underperformed in terms of sales numbers. But it does have some of the best Nintendo games ever.
As well as Bayonetta 2, which is phenomenal.
Did you buy Bayonetta 2?
I was actually given it for Christmas, and it is awesome.
You suck.
Yeah, well,
I missed that one. But I am going to be picking it up from the library this weekend.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, actually, tip to all the listeners out there, you might want to check with your local libraries, considering all video stores don't exist anymore. At least in BC, and definitely where we are, the public library has like pretty much all the new releases. So I signed up, went online, Bayonetta 2, click, put a hold on it. They just emailed me actually today, which is kind of funny that you mentioned awesome. That. They emailed me and it's just sitting there waiting for me to pick up. So,
dude, that's actually really cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's free. So if you ever miss some of those games, you don't have the cash to play these games. Like, they have the order at the library. That's actually how I have the order right now. I did reserve it, but my buddy Nelson, shout out to Nelson.
Yeah.
He lent it to me because he's done with it and he doesn't have to go back for a few days still. So he's like, hey, just come pick it up. And I'm like, sweet. So I just got to drop it off. When I drop it off, I'm going to pick up Bayonetta 2, and I've got holds on a couple other games that have slipped through the cracks, and it's free.
That's a really cool, that's really awesome. Like I said, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'll have to look
I don't
into
know.
that. I mean, I know you're over in Victoria and I'm over here in Vancouver, so I think it would be a little bit different, but I'm actually going to check into that this weekend.
Your mileage may vary, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like you can check out some, like I had holds on Far Cry 4 and Alien Isolation. Those came through and I was like, oh, I'm just not going to have time. So I canceled them, but I already played Far Cry 4 on PC. It was almost like just wanted to see what it looked like on
PS4?
On PlayStation.
Right. Very cool.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I have Bayonetta to pick up.
Nice.
But yeah, like, and back to what we were talking about, the Nintendo system. It makes me excited because, like, I don't want to see Nintendo go away. They always do unique things that everyone copies. Like, you can think as far back as, like, N64. They were the first one with the Rumble Pack.
Yeah, this is very true. It was
everybody stole that.
Everybody had to put it in after because it was a game changer.
Yeah, like it was awesome to feel your gun in your hand, like vibrating when you were shooting, or your guy jumping or punching. Like that was such a simple thing, but it like changed like control. And I can't remember if they were the first one. If the N64 was the first one to have an analog stick too.
They totally were. They totally were, because it was after that the Sony strapped on the analog sticks and created the DualShock controller for the original PlayStation.
Yeah. And they were the first to have motion control, and Sony stole that, and and Microsoft copied with their versions of motion control, and so they've always been like the innovators. Like they want to change the whole experience.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I mean, I do not want to see Nintendo walking away from the console space. But that being said, they've now finally said that they're going to be entering the mobile space.
Yeah, and that's pretty crazy.
I don't know, honestly, how I feel about this. And I mean, I guess I'll sort of hold my judgments until we see kind of what gets worked on here. But I mean, you and I both, like we said at the beginning of this podcast, neither one of us are huge into mobile games.
Yeah, and that's because most mobile games are trash. So
yeah, you know what it is for me is 9 times out of 10, it's the controls suck on mobile games. I don't want to swipe my finger around a screen to try and make my guy move and jump and stuff.
Yeah, the controls are terrible. Or there's a handful of games that aren't terrible, but the thing is Nintendo has like these properties and licenses that they could probably do some really cool stuff. There's a lot of games Nintendo has made that have no right being $40 or $60.
This is so true.
They have like all their Pokemon like puzzle games. I don't know. They have so many like titles that that would be perfect for this. Like, and they can embed their own ads, and it's like, oh yeah, you like this, get the real experience on 3DS or get the real experience on Wii U. It's just going to be another mechanism to get people to move over to their big systems, right?
Yeah. I'll be very curious to when we find out a little more about that. I mean, obviously all they've kind of said so far is like, yes, this is sort of happening, and that's pretty much we know about as much about that as we do about their next system, right?
Yeah, we're not going to hear anything for a while, but it's pretty cool that they that they dropped that out there to say, hey, we're still in the game, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, and I'm a huge fan of that. I hope that I love Nintendo. Obviously both of us, sort of that's the home system, that's the one that sort of turned us into gamers.
Oh yeah. Like, I had my Nintendo. That was like that wasn't my first system. I had an Atari.
Yeah.
Ouch. And a ColecoVision.
Oh, pulling out the Coleco. I too actually had a Coleco as well.
So I'm kind of dating myself. My cousin had a Coleco, and he's like showing us Donkey Kong, and I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing! I want one of those now.
Yeah. So what about the PS4 update that's dropping?
I'm actually pretty.
This week?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Thursday for people
Thursday.
actually listening to.
Yeah, there's an update for the Vita and an update for the PS4. Okay. So it's a 2.5 with the suspend and resume. There is a huge list of updates in this firmware update. But like the big one was the suspend and resume, which they talked about at E3, right? Put your system to sleep, go do your thing, come back, push a button, boom, you're right back in your game. You know, they kind of have that with the rest mode, sort of. It boots up quicker, but you're not right in the action. The games still have to load. You know, it takes a while. But yeah, if it works as it sounds like it will, that's pretty cool. Because like that's my favorite thing about the Vita. You're in the middle of a game, you push one button, click, it's off. You push one, boom, you're in the game. Like it's awesome.
I really do like that about the Vita. If it works as, you know, as well as they're kind of saying that it's going to work, I think that's going to be really cool to, like you said, to just be able to drop, you know, if you need to go out, you can just hit the suspend button, turn your TV off, and go do your thing, right?
You know, and I don't have to sit there and wait for Bloodborne to load, or I don't have to sit there and wait for Destiny load. Oh wait, I'm not playing Destiny anymore. It doesn't load.
Oh, burn.
I love that game, but I just totally burnt out on it.
Yeah. Apparently, we're also going to be able to back up and restore hard drives in this update as well to a USB, which for me actually is really exciting because at least that way, you know, you can, if you have a hard drive go down or you have a system that goes down, at least you're able to back up your hard drive every once in a while with your save datas and settings. It includes everything now, which is pretty sweet.
I just went through this headache of getting I was lucky enough to get a 20th anniversary PlayStation.
You jerk. I'm so jealous.
So I have my original launch system. Obviously, the hard drive is full.
Right.
They didn't have this functionality. On the PS3, I remember throwing a terabyte hard drive in my PS3. You know, I plugged in an external, backed it all up, you know, launched the new system, put the hard drive in, copied all my games over, boom, done.
Oh, it was super straightforward. It was awesome.
And with the PS4, nope. I had to start from scratch, download everything, download my cloud saves. It was a kind of pain in the ass. I still actually don't even have all my games reinstalled because it's just, you know, I'm going to waste a terabyte of data, especially with data caps lately. Damn you, internet providers. You know, anyway. Yeah, so that's a nice feature.
Yeah, they're also finally allowing us to delete our 0% trophies.
I was going to talk about that. I have so many games that I'm embarrassed that I've tried.
So do I.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to go through and do some cleaning and get rid of some of those games. They're just like, no, I'm not playing this. But they just show up in your list. And if you're OCD, it's annoying, and it makes your stats look worse.
Yep. No, I'm looking through the list here right now, and I mean it's pretty cool. They're doing automatic trophy screenshots. So whenever you get a trophy, they're gonna automatically take a screenshot. So of course, you know, for people who want to post those to social media or whatever later on, that'll be super straightforward for them. You're also going to be able to share your trophy information on Facebook or Twitter or, you know, via message with your friends and other people.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff in here. Like, it's a giant list.
Yeah, I'm amazed. Like, some of this stuff is just, some of it's all kind of back end stuff, you know, the verified accounts. Select game developers and producers and some of the game designers and stuff will be verified with a special badge.
Yeah, kind of like the Twitter stuff.
Kind of neat, though.
You know that's the person. It's not someone, like, impersonating them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is kind of cool. So.
Streamlined party process. That'll be neat to check out.
Yeah. All in all, I think it's all going in the right direction for the PS4.
Yeah, they're getting it. Well, they're delivering on stuff. They said they were going to do that suspend and resume. That was, like, a huge thing at E3, I remember, you know. Like, that's a really cool feature, you know, and they're finally, you know, it's a year and a bit later. But whatever, you know, it's coming.
I'm still waiting on the stupid DLNA stuff so that I can stream my media and disconnect my PS3. Yeah. Right now, I still use my PS3 for streaming media and stuff to my TV. And, I mean,
I don't know what they're doing with that. I feel like, I almost feel like that stuff's not going to come. But that would be so strange for it to not come.
Yeah, I mean, both Sony and Microsoft this generation were both very standoffish about that kind of stuff, and I'm not really sure why.
No, I know why.
Exactly. Yeah?
Yeah, it just probably has to do with streaming pirated movies.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because they can see what people were doing with their boxes, and they know for a fact people were playing movies over DLNA from their, you know, their hard drives or USBs or whatever means of getting it. And it's, these guys are in the business of selling movies. So at the same time, I don't think they really want to make it so easy that you can just stream movies that you borrowed.
Yeah.
No one will come out and say it, but that's my opinion, because there's no reason. That's a standard that exists already. That's almost, I swear to God, like a switch you just flick on this hardware. Like, there's no real reason why that shouldn't exist.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I'm gonna hold the candle out in hopes that I see it still.
I wouldn't doubt that it'll come, but I bet you it'll have some severe limitations. Like, it'll probably do music, and it might do like it's probably going to have a tiny list of video files that it's going to be compatible with. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. If we get it at all. I mean, like you said,
if
we might not even see it.
Because, you'd think Microsoft would be like, oh, they don't have it, we're going to do it because that's going to make us better, right? And they haven't done it.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true.
It could be some like backdoor like conversation these guys have both had.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, actually, with all the stuff going on these days.
Because, like, who didn't have a PS3? And I don't even remember that app now anymore that you would run on your computer. PS3 media server, that was it.
Yep.
You use that to convert any video type essentially to your PS3.
Yep.
And like, I know a guy that knows a guy that was like, downloading all his movies and doing that all the time. But, in my day job, I go to customers' houses and I see them playing the pirated Frozen on their laptop for their kids, and, or unfortunately a lot of people are doing it, right? So
yeah, it's funny. When I was younger, pirating was huge to me. Even I was like, I loved it. It was great. It was a way that I could play whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And it's funny, as I got older and I started making money and things like that, and then obviously having friends that are in the game industry now and things like that as well, it's something that I honestly can't remember the last time I did that. I mean, it's super easy, and yeah, I could do it, but
yeah,
it's almost like it's just something that I've grown out of. And it's funny when I have friends that still haven't grown out of it, and they're like, oh yeah, I just played the new Far Cry 4 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you didn't buy it. And they're like, no, I borrowed it. And it actually kind of bothers me now.
Yeah,
like,
it's
really?
pretty dumb.
When
it makes sense when people are young, but you should grow out of that. You should support these people. These are people working 9 to 5. Actually, they're working longer. Video games are goddamn hard to make.
Yeah, especially good ones, it seems like.
Yeah, so you should support them. And you probably have enough games already in your collection that you don't need to be stealing any.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's probably, tons of people have huge piles of shames of games that they could just go back to and play. They don't need to be downloading or pirating anything else. I don't know. If you can't afford it, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't do it. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
So Kojima's pulling a stealth move and pulling out a Konami.
Yeah, you think? I mean, this story has just been weird. Kind of as this week has gone on. For those of you that maybe aren't sort of following along like some of us do, Kojima and Hideo Kojima, the guy that makes the Metal Gear Solid games, and Konami, they're the publisher of said games, have been in a really strange sort of match, if you will, where Konami seems to be removing Kojima's name from everything, and Kojima's not really saying anything, but everybody's kind of speculating that Kojima and Konami are no longer, going to be working together.
Yeah, it sounds like Phantom Pain's his last game.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times have we heard that before? Like, what, 3, 4 times?
Yeah, he's wanted to leave since, I think, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know is that he wants to leave. I just think he wants to do something else, and they won't let him, because it's like, hey, I don't want to make the cash cow game anymore, guys. Can I do something different?
Yeah,
and they're like, and they're pretty much like, no, you're like golden handcuffs. You're our golden goose, laying golden eggs with Metal Gear, and you're going to keep doing it until you die.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, and I would love to see him make something else. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what he would make.
Well, I mean, he made the mech game there. What was that called? He made 2 mech
Zone
games.
of Enders.
The Zone of Enders. And the first one, in all honesty, was not awesome.
I didn't like either of those games.
The second one I really liked a lot, though. I thought it was a fantastic game. But to be honest, I would really like to see him make an original property.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I'm sure he's got some crazy ideas. Obviously, he's done some crazy shit in Metal Gear. Like, some of that stuff is just like, whew, right over my head.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really do hope that if that is the case, and that if him and, Konami are in fact sort of splitting up, if you will, I really do hope that he goes to somewhere else and he's able to make what he wants to make. And I would really like to see what that looks like.
I don't think he'll have a problem. I'm pretty sure there's probably people already phoning him or knocking on his door. What do you want to make? What do you need? Here's your studio.
Yeah, I hope so. That being said, I at least really do hope too, though, that he at least sticks around and makes sure that
he's going to be around until the game's released, and he'll be around for a few months of support, I'm sure.
Yeah,
the game's got to be nearly done at this point. They said a release date September, so
yeah, this is true. I mean, I think for the most part, his part of it is probably dealt with.
Yeah, his crazy cutscenes and monkeys wearing diapers and what other weird stuff he's got up his sleeve. Yeah, he's done. He's probably injected all that weirdness into the game, I'm sure.
Well, it wouldn't be a Metal Gear Solid game without it, so.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that,
Hey, I'm a fan. What can I say?
I like the games. Metal Gear. I thought Metal Gear Solid 4 was awesome.
Hey, it was, in my opinion, still one of my favorite games that I played on the PS3.
And I really liked Metal Gear Solid 3. Like Metal Gear Solid 3, that's up there. I might even like that one better than Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh, those are big words.
It was a cool game.
Yeah, it was, especially for a Metal Gear game. It did a lot of things and really kind of pushed the medium forward.
I'm sure he's going to land on his feet and everyone's going to be okay. I think the only person that's going to be hurting out of this is going to be Konami. It'll be interesting to see if they try to do a Metal Gear without him. Yeah,
that I'm actually very curious to see.
They probably will. They probably have all the other people that work there that don't have the cachet to leave. Unless he does some kind of respawn thing, he takes all the best talent with him and they go make the next new thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's gonna, I don't know if he's going to, I don't think he's going to do the same thing. He's probably going to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's exactly what'll happen.
He's been with Konami, I think, for almost 30 years.
Yeah, that's the only studios he's ever worked for.
So imagine making the same games for that long. You would just get bored.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even play the same games for that long, so.
No. I've been in the same work trade for a long time, and it becomes like brainless. You're just going through the motions at a certain point, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't. If it was the only way for him to get out and do his own thing, I give him props. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I agree. And I really do hope that we see something really neat and original from him that isn't a sequel. I
don't think he'll be able to make a sequel.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be leaving with 0 IP.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the IP with him and all that stuff works, but my guess is you're right. So,
I guess the last thing I can just go over quickly. We're getting over an hour now. The whole God of War 3 and the Arkham games, this remastering games that were already HD.
Cash grab.
Yeah, it's lazy. It's effing lazy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. On one hand, I think it's cool that, they kind of want to go back and make these games better and stuff.
But these games were already like 1080. Well, okay, let's be honest. They were probably 720p or less upscaled to 1080i. But still, I don't care to play these games again in 1080p, 60 frames a second. They were good the way they were, and you can still play them just fine on a high definition TV.
And it just hasn't been long enough.
No, it absolutely hasn't. It's just we got nothing going on.
I think it's just a lazy thing that they're trying to do to get more money out of people. And, I'm sure that there is a big enough, sort of market out there that maybe missed it the first time. I mean, I understand that every generation, especially now we're kind of getting into the PS4 and stuff's been out over a year and like, but so you're going to have new users that are coming in on each generation, but I feel like it hasn't been long enough yet for that generation to need to play God of War 3 or the Batman Arkham games already.
No, because they've probably played them. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You're not getting 8-year-olds running out there buying PlayStation 4s and it being their first console. And they missed God of War and Batman because they were 5 years old when they came out. Like, really?
Yeah,
they shouldn't even.
They should be playing them.
But exactly, like, so who's missed these games? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Obviously,
like, maybe it's people that want to play them again, but they got rid of their PlayStation 3s or their Xbox 360s.
It obviously boils down. It must be development cost is so low that they just push a button like export PS4 1080p version, and then they've got a release to fill their calendar because they got nothing else going on.
Yeah, I really don't hope that it's something that, it's one thing to be redoing games from, my childhood or these games that are 10 years old or
PlayStation
exactly.
1 games, like these games that weren't high def, they ran like shit,
Exactly.
We imagined them to be a lot better because that's just what it was at the time. Like, yeah, remaster those games. That makes sense. But like games from like PS3, it's just I think it's gross.
Yeah, it's sad that we're seeing that. I think is, it's one
games.
thing when the games, we saw a few of them, like the new Tomb Raider, well, not so new anymore, and the new what's the other one there that they've just announced as well. Are you
thinking of the Borderlands collection that just came out today?
Oh, no.
Or yesterday?
No, I wasn't even thinking about that one.
Was that 4 games that were all HD already anyway?
Oh, yeah.
Let's release those in one big pack to get more money.
Oh, jeez. No, I was thinking of the one there with Devil May Cry.
Oh, yeah, and Devil May Cry. Like, what the...
Yeah. See, and like for me, I missed Devil May Cry on...
I guess, for the people who missed them, good on you. You're going to get a better version of the game.
Yeah.
And I guess hopefully the studios don't lose money on these stupid projects because they're going to piss people off. I imagine they're probably going to sell, or like I said, the cost has got to be so low that it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah. And the thing was too, is that they were right on the tail end of the PS3, PS4.
Yeah, those games were not like early. It's not like they were like first gen PS3 games from like 6 years ago. These were games that came out last year or the year before.
Yeah. So, kind of re-releasing them, I can kind of see that making a bit more sense.
Maybe they were more than a couple of years old, but yeah, they were late enough in the PS3 cycle that these games were games that pushed the system and did some amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these games are good-looking games already.
Yeah. Well, it still makes me feel kind of nasty, and I
don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's gross.
No, well, I guess they're just going to keep doing it, though.
Hey, if people buy them, they
on the plus side,
money they will come.
On the plus side, we got a new trailer for Batman. Oh my god, that looks so good.
Oh, does it ever?
I love the Batman games. I'm not going to buy the Arkham ones again, though. No, bad WB. I am going to buy the new Batman game that they decided to go whole hog and make it for PS4.
Yeah.
And delay it so that they can iron out all the kinks. Like that's what, that made me excited. Like when they're like, we're making a new Batman game. We're not going to make an old generation. We're not going to make a PS3 Xbox 360 version. We're going whole hog current gen so we can do some awesome shit. And I really like the Batman games. The combat, like those games are, I don't know, they were awesome. Like that was the way to bring Batman into video games. They just nailed it.
Oh, absolutely. When Sledgehammer released that first one, it was like, wow.
Yeah, like just kicking ass, flying around the room, breaking guys' arms, just beating the shit out of like 30 plus dudes. It's
you felt like Batman.
Yeah, I'm Batman. My parents are dead.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, you haven't happened to check out the Gotham series, have you?
No, I have not heard good things, so I just never even bothered.
I've been watching it. I've been following it because I'm a huge, sort of comic book Batman fan. The series, to be honest with you, started off a little shaky. It was kind of like they didn't, especially from an actor's perspective, I think they weren't really sure where they were kind of going and what their characters were supposed to be like. But in all honesty, as the series has gone on and as this season has progressed, it's becoming worth watching. I'm starting to really enjoy it. Few episodes, maybe the first 3 at the beginning were a little bit not great, but as it's gone on, I'm really liking it. It's solid.
Yeah, maybe when there's a series on Netflix, I'll check it out if it gets on Netflix. Right now, my TV watching is kind of maximized. And with Game of Thrones a couple weeks away, I'm so excited.
Oh, Game of Thrones. It's going to be so good. I actually have a buddy of mine is actually one of the stunt guys on that show.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess we're done with news.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of too much more.
No, we're already talking about TV, so we're just going to move it off into our random topic of the week section. This is where we're just going to talk about whatever we want. Yeah. And obviously we're talking about TV, so Game of Thrones, oh my God.
Oh, so good.
I never read the book, so obviously, you always had that one friend that's like, I read those in high school like 10 years ago. You're just getting that to that now.
Yeah.
And, I watched the first season, and I was like, oh my God, I need to know what's going on. So I went right away, and I got the audiobooks.
Oh.
And listened to I haven't listened to the newest, the latest book. That's the only one I haven't done, but I literally ran out and listened to those. I binged listened to those books, and I don't know. People could be like, oh, the books are better than the TV show, but it was so cool to me. It was such a neat experience with the audiobooks to Game of Thrones is I have, the actors from the TV show. I have that world playing out in my head. I'm seeing the future episodes just in my brain.
Right.
I'm not making up my own vision and my own characters and getting disappointed. That's the problem with books. People read their books. They have their idea of the world. They have their idea of the characters. And that's where they get pissed off, right? It gets brought to the screen and it's not what they envisioned, what they pictured. And that's where you get the burn it down, kill them all. It sucks.
Well, it's kind of interesting because doing it the way you did it, you saw the show first.
Yeah.
And so therefore, the show, those characters are kind of in your mind when you were reading the book.
Yeah, and George R.R. Martin is a huge part of that show. He helped them craft that image. So that's what he had in his, that's the idea of the world from his books, right?
Yeah,
if he didn't like it, it wouldn't exist. So yeah, it's. I think it was a really unique way of consuming that content because then I just got more hyped and hyped, seeing all these things, all these scenes, there's so much stuff that's spoilery, so I'm not going to talk about anything in specific, but it was so cool, and then it's I had to stop. I'm like, I'm 4 years ahead of where the TV show is. I need to stop.
Yeah, I've heard that R.R. Martin actually gave the writers of the show sort of a rundown on what's going to happen on the in the books, so that if he dies, they can actually finish the show.
Everyone makes fun of that. They say he's just finish the books, finish the series before you die. They figure he's just going to keel over tomorrow. Well,
he is pretty much the slowest writer going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how long did it take him to write that last book? 7-8 years, something ridiculous that?
It's been a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows how long it's going to be till the next one comes out.
So, what about just over 2 weeks? Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. I'm going to get the wife together and we're going to go back and we haven't actually finished the last season yet because we got about halfway through and then just life got in the way and we haven't been able to kind of...
It's pretty cool. Also, knowing what's coming though too. For me, my wife looks over at me and she sees me kneeling over, like leaning in, or like cringing, or like she knows something's gonna happen just based on my reactions, because I know what's coming up. And it's like seeing some of those scenes and like how they created them, it's like such a different payoff. It's like, oh my god, that was awesome. They did that so perfect. Or what the hell, they just glanced over that? That seemed like such a big deal, you know? It's kind of funny in that. But
no, that's fair. That's cool. I can relate to that with the Lord of the Rings, actually. For me, I grew up reading. I must have read Lord of the Rings I don't know how many times.
Yeah, see, so, that's the total opposite. Like, Tolkien isn't around. He, besides his books, he had no like input on those.
No, I mean he's been gone for quite a while.
Like, it's just been like total like, Peter Jackson in that studio. I think they did a pretty awesome job with that, but like, who knows if he was around, how different that could have looked.
Yeah.
And some people hate the Lord of the Rings. Because Lord of the Rings is a huge, like, it's one of the original, this is like before D&D. This is bands like have songs about Lord of the Rings. Like, oh yeah, this is some huge, like, this is some of the original like geek culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of the first sort of high fantasy books to go, big, if you will.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. Shadow Mordor is awesome in terms of game wise.
Oh my goodness, that game, so good.
Yeah, that game was wicked. That game
it's the best Assassin's Creed game that anybody's made in the last like 10 years,
including the people who make Assassin's Creed.
Exactly.
I love Assassin's Creed, but fuck.
Unity was so bad.
I have Unity. I got it on Xbox One. I think I got it for like $10 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Some dude was selling his codes on Cheap Ass Gamer. Shout out to the Catcast. Nice. On their forums, because people sell and trade games, and the guy is just like $20 for that and some other game Xbox One codes. And I'm like, oh, I'll dig them.
Sweet.
So $10 for Unity. I started it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I haven't gone back.
Yeah.
I was so excited for that game.
Yeah, you know what? It's brutal. I mean, you and I got a really cool behind the scenes look at that game at PAX, sat down with every, with the developers and the producers and everybody. And
we got a demo with like the executive producer of the game.
Yeah. And I think we both walked out of that going like, this is gonna be awesome.
God, yeah, this is awesome. Oh, yeah. And then it's just like, oh man, and then it's just like, it was just like the 1-2 smoke and mirrors. Here's a super controlled section of the game where everything runs perfectly and everything looks good, and no it's bugs. Like, come out pumped. And obviously some sites at that time probably came out writing reviews, said, oh my god, Unity is the best, you have to go get it. And
oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm sure tons of people went out after seeing that demo and spouted the praises. Like, I came out of there super hyped. Obviously I didn't write anything, but still, like, it's funny seeing it from both sides. It's like how that game demoed and then how it came out.
Well, and not only that, but you were demoing it with him. So, I mean, he knows where everything is. He knows where, which is awesome because, I mean, you got a wicked experience out of it, but it's not really how the game is going to play when it, comes out.
It's funny. I wonder if at that time he knew the shortcomings of the games. Like, if they had to have, right? They had to have known the bugs. They had to have known the shit frame rate. They had to have known all the issues at that point. Like, when was that? August? The game came out in October or November?
Yeah, so, I mean, we were close to release there. I mean, they were doing some like bug fixes and some finalization.
So I'm wondering at that point, like, he's just like, okay, it's a couple more months of crunch. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get the frame rate up. We're gonna fix these issues. Like, it must be the hardest thing in the world, Like, I don't know. Like I said, games are freaking hard to make, and especially I imagine a game like that with hundreds, I think if not thousands of people who work on it around the world.
Oh yeah, the teams on some of these games are huge. I mean, it's insane because there's so many things that happen, in Montreal at Ubisoft there. You have a huge team there, but then you also have all of the other assets and stuff that are being created all at studios and other places all over. the music's being created, and I know for a fact, like, some of the mocap stuff happened over here in Vancouver on the other side of the country. I
think they had studios in Shanghai working on it, studios in France working on it.
Oh yeah, they're huge games now. I mean, I think it's very safe and very easy to say that there's thousands of people working on these.
It sucks. I feel bad, because like that's his baby, and then just for it to become a train wreck and then get derailed by all the bad press, and I got to go back and play the game. I'm sure the game is fine, issues aside, but it's like that's pretty much what happened. The Order is just this message gets out there, and I think it just deflates any like excitement or attention for your game. It's just like, this has got to be so like disheartening as being the producer, like the company making these games.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's easy, that's for sure. And I mean, obviously we've seen over the last few years. I mean, you gotta have a thick skin.
Oh, absolutely.
I
get dissed on some of my crappy YouTube videos, but whatever.
Oh yes. I was told on one of my videos that I look like the guy in South Park playing the MMOs, to which I laughed.
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, like I said, you gotta laugh, right? You gotta laugh it off.
Whatever, they're just bored.
Yep.
So we went and saw The Kingsman.
Yeah, we did. I mean, not together, but
that's what we'll tell everybody.
Oh, okay. It'll be our secret. Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
I thought personally that The Kingsman was it was like a James Bond movie, but they didn't hold back. I feel like every James Bond, they kind of hold back a bit. They don't swear. The girls keep their clothes on. They don't. They always I feel like they're kind of making it for a PG rating or 14A rating or whatever they're at these days. And I felt like The Kingsman was like, you know what? We're going to make a no-holds-barred James Bond movie. We're going to have a bit more fun, but we're just going to
be a little, some stuff's going to be a little corny.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with it. It's going to be a little bit like an older James Bond movie where they just had fun with it. And we're just not going to hold back. There's blood, there's gore, there's, a little bit of nudity kind of at the very end, but it was so much fun. It was yeah,
it was a really fun movie. Like, it was comically entertaining, and like the gadgets were cool.
Yeah.
The setups for like the villain and the heroes, the whole. It was really neat how like they were kind of like the Knights of the Round Table, kind of sort of like the Order. They all had like Lancelot and Galahad and Merlin as their code names, which is pretty cool. And the whole thing that they were like this independent, group, independent of government and everyone else. Like, they weren't influenced by any money or corporation or with any, like, they were just out for the greater good, which was pretty neat.
And who knew that the main guy there was such a badass? He played the older...
Oh, Colin Firth? Colin Firth was awesome.
He totally nailed it. What a cool role for him. He played the British spy.
Yeah, he's always been
good. Yeah,
he's always been like, I think he's like in the romance comedy movies and like the more serious dramas.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else he's in.
Obviously, he was in Love Actually. He's been in lots of stuff, obviously, but
I'm not in love with celebrities, so I don't like know everything they do. But yeah, he's definitely not done this type of movie before, and he kicked ass. Like, he was so impressive. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, he was a huge part of, I think, what made that movie fun. It was just his character and the role that he played. He was nailed
awesome.
it. He really did.
Yeah, because he's like a gentleman, but like he kicked everyone's ass.
Oh yeah.
And he did it with style. Everything was done with style. Like, from his dialogue to his moves. Like, he just looked like the coolest fucking dude.
Oh, totally. No, they nailed it. It's, if you still haven't seen it in the theater, highly recommend go check it out. It's worth a ticket. Again, it is rated R, so, if that offends you, then don't get mad at me because, well, I told you to go see it, but worth seeing.
Yeah, I would definitely go see it. I went and watched it with my wife, and she loved it, and I was like saying want to watch it again now.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun.
Oh yeah, no.
So, Samuel Jackson was hilarious.
Man. What a great bad guy character. Yeah.
And like the concept, like the whole motivation behind his evil plot was pretty neat. And, you know, his ploy to get things done, like, it was such a cool, like, a neat idea. And, you know, it wasn't a very serious conversation about society and stuff, but, you know, it touched on that stuff, and it was kind of making fun, you know, of it at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you should definitely, if you like James Bond movies, or just like even action movies in general, it's like a mix of the two. Yeah. It's like your over the top action movie mixed with a James Bond movie.
Yeah, like I kind of heard, it's sort of like the James Bond movies they used to make, but they aren't making anymore, that you wish they would.
I don't know. I honestly like the newest Bonds better than any of the old stuff. I don't think they pulled off that stuff very well.
Oh, see, my wife got me the.
I don't know. I don't have the whole collection of James Bond movies like
the collection for Christmas. And so I've actually been going through and watching them. And I won't lie, there's some pretty bad older ones, especially in the 70s.
Yeah.
But there's some pretty epic ones there as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The James Bond series is legendary. Oh, yeah. There's tons of movies that I love in that series, but I honestly like the Daniel Craig James Bond the best. I like the gritty, realistic, like, super high stakes.
Yeah.
Like, Daniel Craig is awesome. That, like, whole... Like, people die. This shit's real. It's not a joke. Like, I like that grittiness.
I like Daniel Craig a lot. I think he's nailing the series. And I think where the series is and where the world's at and whatnot, I think this needed to happen.
And the continuity in them all I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the same guy, same world, same storylines, same villains, same everything, carrying through them all. Just, you know, helps make the stakes higher and the connection of the characters, you know, mean more.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. Pierce Brosnan, he's probably my favorite Bond. He had a couple stinkers towards the end there, but GoldenEye and
his movies were awesome. GoldenEye is fucking amazing.
You know, they're by far still my favorite ones. So
yeah, GoldenEye is awesome. His earlier movies were great. The last. I don't know, was the last couple or just the last one?
The last one was pretty bad. It was a steamer.
Yeah, and was it just bad special effects, or just the cheesiness was turned up too high? I can't remember.
You know, I think it was just the writing, the story. It was all kind of a bad mix in that movie. So, you know.
Oh, well, we got a new Bond this fall.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, I know it's only our first podcast, but we did actually have somebody ask us a question on our Facebook page, Geekoholics.com. Robez is... Hey, that's how his name is. I don't know. You know him. You know him better than I do. I don't.
Yeah, Rob. I guess that's a fun way of spelling it. We're probably definitely mispronouncing it.
Oh, absolutely. I just butchered it. So there you go. He asked a question, what do you guys think about the rise of indie games filling the role of AAA quality titles, and what do you think the big publishers should take note from their success?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll take a stab at it. I think the rise of indie games is due to a few things. I think that a lot of the AAA stuff, it's the same stuff. You know, we're on Halo 5, we're on, you know, God of War 6, and we're on, you know, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but people...
Oh, if you count all the Vita the PSP games, you're at God of War 6 or 7.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Maybe even 8.
And I think that what people are, you know, they're really liking in the indie scene right now is the innovation, you know, but I think that the indie developers are able to do that innovation because they're on such a smaller scale. And if it doesn't work, they're not losing, hundreds of millions or tens of millions of dollars. If an indie developer, has a really innovative idea and it sells well, then obviously they stand to make huge amounts of money, as obviously Minecraft sort of showed everybody. But, if a big studio tries to do that on a bigger scale, it can really bankrupt them. I mean, just look at history. There's been multiple publishers that have tried to do what they thought was innovative, and it didn't work out very well, and they're no longer with us.
I think that this whole rise of the indies is great. It reminds me of the old days of gaming, where people were not scared to try new things.
Absolutely.
Like I just played, last week, I was playing 2 indie games, like Hotline Miami 2 and Ori. I haven't played indie games for years, and I played many more, like Rogue Legacy and Ollie Ollie. You mentioned Minecraft, even though,
not really
Minecraft isn't exactly indie anymore, but there's still a tiny studio that they just knocked it out of the park with this. But Minecraft's a phenomenon. It's totally something different, but I love indie games like that, these unique experiences you can't get anywhere else, because these AAA guys they're scared to fall on their face. They like you said, they can't afford to fall on their face, so they're scared to take any risk. So they're just going to make their Call of Duty 57, and like you said, they're just going to keep doing the same thing. And, doing the same thing doesn't always pay off. You can look at Assassin's Creed. I'm sure Unity still made a shitload of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it did fine.
But I bet you it left a really huge sour taste in the mouth of all the fans. I'm pretty sure the next one, I don't know how well it's going to do.
Yeah, this is very true. I mean,
these AAA guys are releasing these games, and they're releasing broken games.
Yeah.
And these indies are releasing unique experiences that work, are inexpensive, and people are just falling in love with.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting about the indie scene, is that people kind of don't necessarily know the studios like they do, in the AAA titles. And that allows these people to make the games that they want to make. But it also is very interesting in the fact that if they sort of release a stinker, maybe not that many people know about it. So it doesn't really do much to hurt them in that regard, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's cool to be able to see people in the indie scene be able to make the games that they want to make, regardless of, if they're making a ton of cash and they don't have those studios looking over their shoulder going like, hey, we need you to change that because, our focus group didn't like that. I mean, it's the pure joy of gaming. They're just making games because they like to make games. And obviously we see some of them that still want to, obviously they need to make money and they need to survive. But then we also see some of them that it's just, they don't even seem to care so much. It's just they want to make games because that's what they like to do.
It's not game by committee like a lot of these big publishers are doing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Making stuff for the lowest common denominator, dumbing down systems, which tons of fans have been getting pissed off about. Mass Effect started out as this wannabe hardcore RPG, and then woof, it was a third-person action shooter.
Yeah.
And then you look at games like Bloodborne, which is like going back. People want these hard games. People want to figure this stuff out. People want complicated systems. They want these deep hooks, and the AAAs just quit doing it. They stopped doing it. They dumbed everything down. So,
I mean,
they need to take note. Absolutely,
it's really cool too, because sometimes it's cool to see, especially with indies, you really see some of the personality that comes out with some of these developers. I got some friends over at Filthy Casual, and they're creating, they just released Jump Jet.
Name dropper.
Yeah, well, hey, what can I say? They just dropped Jump Jet Rex on Steam and stuff, and it's fantastic. But you really, they made kind of a ridiculous game that they wanted to make, and it's just a blast. It's not, they didn't overthink it. They just put a bunch of dumb crap together. It's a dinosaur. He jumps. It's, it's just fun though. And,
And they don't care.
Exactly. Obviously they released
They
it.
didn't make it for anyone. They made it for themselves.
Exactly. And it's, and I love, seeing that come out in stuff, and it's, I don't know. I look forward to seeing what those types of people are going to release later on, because that's, what's exciting, and it's just pure fun. It's just sort of gaming distilled in its pure form.
Well, that's it. Yeah. The indie games, most of them, their main hook is just straight gameplay.
Yeah.
They're not, I haven't played The Order, but I don't want to badmouth it. But it's not relying on just beautiful graphics and this these insane cutscenes that 100,000 people worked on.
Yeah.
Obviously not that many people worked on it, but still, you've got games that are just built around rock solid gameplay, like in Ori or Hotline Miami. The list goes on. Those are just obviously the ones that are on the top of my head because I just played them. But they're all they're games, video games, not video movies or video experiences. Yeah. They're games, and they're awesome, and they're unique, and they're doing different stuff. Like, the race for them is not to make the shooter with the bazillion guns. It's to, let's do something no one's done before and blow their minds.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
if
awesome.
Anything, it's, and we kind of touched on why it's hard, but if anything, I kind of wish that that's actually what some of these bigger publishers would take out of the success of some of these indie games, is the sort of the taking the risks, the trying new and innovative things. But with that being said, I mean, sometimes, that risk it's just that, it's a risk. Sometimes it works out big, and sometimes it costs a lot of money is all.
They've definitely taken notice, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think, Ubisoft released a little small project, was it Grow Home or Grown Home?
Yes.
I didn't play that, but I've heard a lot of positive buzz about that, and that was just floated under the radar. Mm-hmm. A small group of guys worked on that under Ubisoft. Yeah. So obviously they've been taking note. And I'm pretty sure most of these other AAA publishers have to do the same. They have to be doing the same thing. If they were smart, they would do like Google. Here's your 20% time to go do your own thing.
Yeah, that would be a really cool idea.
It small indie projects. Hey, it belongs to us, obviously, because you're working in our office and on our hardware. But here, you guys can make your own little teams within the big team.
Yeah.
Which keeps you motivated and refreshed to work on the big 9-to-5 product, the design by committee AAA thing that we got to release every week. And then you get this time dedicated to make whatever you want. And if that doesn't already, that might already happen as far as I know. I don't know a lot of game developers personally. That might already happen, or it might be something that's happening now and we may be seeing happen because they obviously, they got to know these games are taking their lunch, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, then they're obviously they're not, but there's no middle space. There's indie and then there's AAA. The middle is gone, and the middle is where all the innovation used to come from. And it just seems like that's just moved down to the indie game, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the AAAs need to realize that they make something polished and they make something new and unique, that you build it and they will come. It's always been that way.
If you make fun things that people enjoy playing, people are going to buy it. People are going to play it.
Yeah, just don't freaking sell them $80 pieces of crap and then sell them DLC and other bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to harp on The Order again, and this is only because I haven't played it. Games are expensive right now. If I didn't get games, I don't get a lot of games free, but obviously with the website, we get some stuff free. And, I just bought Bloodborne. That was almost just shy of $80. It was $78.
Yeah.
For the regular edition after taxes. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, here in Canada, $69 plus taxes. It's not cheap.
Well, and even in the US, it's $59 plus tax. Yep. So, it's a $60, it's almost $70 for that.
Oh, yeah.
People look at 59. It's not 59, it's $70, and we're almost paying 80. And that's a lot of money to spend on something that's broken or short or just, nothing wrong with short. Journey is a short game, and I literally almost cried at that game. That game was amazing.
Yeah, that game's phenomenal.
And that game was what, $10 or maybe $15, and it was short.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was $10.
But it wasn't $60.
No, it wasn't.
So length isn't really an issue either if the experience is amazing. You know, like some, you know,
I mean,
Colin.
I won't lie.
Colin Moriarty from like Kind of Funny Games. He says he will pay $100 for someone to make him an experience like Journey, and I totally agree with him. Like that's worth it because that was an amazing experience. You pay $150 to jump off a fucking bridge, you know, and bungee jump. Why? Because it's insane. Like that feeling you get. You know, people are gonna pay. You just got to make the product.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree, and we're starting to hit into that 140 mark. We should probably start wrapping it up.
Probably wrap it up. Okay, well, that was an awesome question.
Yeah, no, it totally was a sweet question.
Robies. I don't even know how you pronounce that.
I don't either. That's why I butchered it. So
sorry, dude. No, it's Rob.
Cool.
So this is our first episode. Obviously, I'm going to post this on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm going to post on SoundCloud, but we're also going to have our podcast feed. Once I post that, obviously you can subscribe to it on iTunes, your Android podcatcher, whatever you want to call it, of choice. We should show up in there. If not, you can manually add the RSS link, which will be posting like crazy everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if you can, obviously go on these sites and these different services, give us 5 stars, tell us how bad we were, how good we were.
If you want to see more,
whatever. But obviously, rate it high because it helps more people discover it and just give us more motivation to keep doing
absolutely.
it. Obviously, this is a lot of fun to do. So
yeah, I hope that people enjoy it, and we definitely have many more episodes in us.
So hit us up on the Facebook site.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on the website directly. Message us whatever way is convenient for you. Obviously, I'm Rico. You can find me at Rick F without a K.
And you can find me. I'm Dane Cody, and that's at Dane spelled with a Y actually. So DAYNECODY. And
nice. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Yep. Till next week.
They'll only get better. They'll only get better from here. We out.
Absolutely.